is catering to his base. See, there's a difference between the MAGA right and the rest of the people who voted for Trump. And where Trump has an opportunity to really cement a legacy and to push the Republican Party forward in a positive direction is if he remembers how he got elected. MAGA right is MAGA right. They're going to vote for him regardless. But it was those swing voters that couldn't convince themselves to cast at the ballot for Kamala Harris that ultimately won him the election. And what has he done since? Given executive orders all over the place. Just today, he sat up there and talked about tariffs are coming the way of Mexico and Canada this weekend. We know what other executive orders he's given as it pertains to being identified as a man or a woman and no in between and all of this stuff. And I'm not saying I got a problem with some of the stuff he's did. Some I did, some I didn't. I ain't got time to get into all of that today. What I'm saying is we got to know what he's doing. 57% of the American population, a minimum, is white. He's making sure he caters to them. Because somehow, some way, like Chris Rock pointed out in his stand-up comedic routine on Netflix, he said white folks were trying to overthrow a government that they run. That's what he said. But if you Trump, here's the warning. I'm reading from an article by Jason L. Riley in the Wall Street Journal. I want to read a couple of paragraphs that he wrote in this article because I want you to understand what he's saying. When I brought up the part about Kamala Harris, the difference between MAGA right and swing voters, here's what Jason Riley said. The distinction matters. Trump loyalists don't care if the president pardons January 6 protesters who assaulted police officers after he condemned George Floyd protesters who assaulted police officers. It doesn't concern them that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the president's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services, declared as recently as 2023 that, quote, there's no vaccine that's safe and effective, end quote. They're not bothered that he yanked security protection for former key advisors involved in planning the lethal drone strike on Iran's leading terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. Not because it's no longer needed, but because he simply doesn't like them anymore. Mr. Trump can't be confident that all his supporters will ignore such rank hypocrisy, foolishness, and petty behavior. Quote, the threat to anyone involved in President Trump's strike on Soleimani is persistent. It's real, Senator Tom Cotton, Republican out of Arkansas, said, chairman of the Intelligence Committee, and a strong Trump ally. That's what he said on Fox News Sunday last weekend. Moreover, it's not just about these men who helped President Trump carry out his policy in the first term. It's about their family and friends, innocent bystanders every time they're in public. It's also about the president being able to get good people and get good advice. He ain't listening. He appears back to his old ways. What has he learned? And so now, if you're the Democratic Party, why am I bringing this up? Because you have a perfect opportunity. Suddenly, it's not about woke culture. It's not about cancel culture. It's not about proper pronouns and all of this. Now we getting into the hearts of the real issues. My man Roland Martin was on his show just the other day talking about civil rights legislation in 1964 and how you've got folks within the Trump administration trying to roll that back 60 years of progress. That's what you have minorities in this country fearing right now, that was the agenda all along. And they're pointing to these things. And it should make the Democratic Party stand up and say, wait a minute now. Now these are issues you can fight for because these are issues that the American people can get behind. And what you have to do if you're the Democratic Party is be center thinking, as in center left. Prioritize the economy. Prioritize national security. Prioritize foreign relations. And forget all that other stuff. We got battles in this country that we have to fight. Why am I giving this advice? Because some of y'all have walked around trying to castigate people like me. Now, let me remind you of who the hell I am. Okay? I am a registered independent. Put that damn thing up on that screen, Griff, for me, please. reminding these people who the hell I am. Republican, Democrat, I don't like none of your asses. I'm talking about as a party, not as individuals. I don't like nary one of y'all. This two-party binary system sucks. It has contaminated our society in the United States of America. It has gotten our eyes off the ball. You know why? Because you have to agree with everything. Think about that for a second. Whatever workplace you are, whatever family you have, whatever boys or ladies you hang out with each other, y'all agree on everything? Everything. 100% aligned and you're thinking about everything. Of course you're not. But our system of government will have you thinking you have to be. All the Republicans vote with one another. All the Democrats vote with one another. Nobody has to do any freaking work. You don't even have to read the policies. All you have to do is ask your sister, how did the Republicans vote? Vote the opposite. How did the Democrats vote? Vote the opposite. That's all you have to do. That's why you got folks in the 80s still in office. And I'm not engaging in ageism here. I'm just speaking real. The hell you doing on Capitol Hill? You really think I believe you reading 400 or 500 pages of legislation? You think I believe you putting in that work? But you vote anyway, because you don't have to do any work. All you have to do is take the side that you're on and vote against the other side. That ain't serving our country. That's why the country pissed off. That's why they put somebody like Trump in office, because they sick and tired of the cesspool that is our nation's capital. And if you're the Democrats, you've got an opportunity to say that although Trump is different and he's apolitical, the dominance with which he's governing over his first 2 weeks on the job is antithetical and very detrimental to us as a nation. You can say that. And as a result, return to some level of normalcy. But what is that? You're the Democratic Party. Where's your voice? Who's your voice? Me calling you out about it has you thinking or has you acting like I'm the enemy. I'm trying to help. I don't want to see you get your ass kicked in another election. I don't want to see you lose in the midterms. I don't want to see you lose 4 years from now in advance with J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody being the next president of the United States just because they're opposite you. I want the best candidate for the country to win. That cannot happen. That can't happen if you have no voice and you have no face for your party. I doubt I'll ever run. It's not me. I live a pretty good life, and I don't want to ruin it by getting involved in politics. But I got to tell y'all something. The Democratic Party looks so pathetic after this election. I might entertain running. I just might change my mind one day. I doubt it, but I might. Because how much would it take to beat y'all? And Trump can't run again. He's done. Regardless of what some representatives want, a third term for him, kissing his ass at every turn. Will you do your job, please? Do your job. He been back in office for 2 weeks, and you got one representative calling for him to get a third term, and you got another representative talking about him being put on Mount Rushmore. Will you do your damn job? Is that too hard? Just do your job. Look at our country. Look at the state it's in. Understand what policies may work and what might not work, what's to the best interest or what's to the detriment of the country, and make that damn decision. Is it really that hard? Do you have to get on your knees and kiss his ass at every turn? Did you see the crash after it happened and Trump handed it over to one of the aviation executives? I forget his name or his title for the moment, don't matter. Every other word he was saying, I want to thank Donald Trump. I want to thank Donald Trump. I want to thank Donald Trump. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your leadership. Shut the hell up and do your job. How much ass kissing must y'all do before your breath starts smelling like shit? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. Just do your job. Do your job. If you Trump, that means you too. Swing voters got you elected, my man. And they got you elected because they couldn't vote for Kamala Harris. But you promised them to address inflation. You promised them to address our borders. You promised them to address national security. You promised a thriving economy. You promised peace in the streets. If your actions are to lean on DEI every chance you get to point out some supposed discrepancy between white individuals and minorities who got jobs as it pertains to their qualifications and their intellect and their resume and their accomplishments, you don't think that's going to compromise peace? You don't think that's going to create chaos? Be careful, Mr. Trump. Be careful, President Trump. Be careful. Society is only as strong as its weakest links. You alienate folks. There's a price that's going to be paid for that. And it's going to be the compromising and the eradication of peace and tranquility. Enough people from all different facets of this country voted for you because they believed that you were going to do a better job at galvanizing our nation than the left ever could. You owe it to all of us to do that, not to alienate us because you're trying to roll back stuff from civil rights legislation from 60 years. That was black folks, that was minority folks' access to capital. That is what civil rights legislation did for us, amongst many other things. To attack that in any way is sacrilegious. And if you're the left, you remember what the hell I said and you pounce on it like a bunch of piranhas. Hispanics and minorities in this country make up more than 17, 18% of the population. Black folks make up 13 to 14% of the population, and the Hispanic populace is growing. If you lost them, get them back. Know what Cubans, Dominicans, Venezuelans, Guatemalans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and blacks know what they mean to this country and what they bring to this country. And remind folks of that instead of getting caught up in your frivolous stuff on the extreme left that compromised your power on the nation in the nation's capital. Get it together. I'm sick and tired of people listening to me and talking to me. And by the way, that includes people that work for me. So I'm sick and tired of everybody acting like I'm somebody that's some right winger. I have conservative views. I have liberal views. Trust me, I have plenty of liberal views. But that don't mean I ain't gonna call it like I see it. I've been doing that for my entire career, and damn it, I ain't stopping. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the best health I've been in 25 years. If you thought I wasn't going away before, you have no idea how the hell I'm not going away now. I'm just getting started.